Dementia care mapping is an observational and practice development tool. It was developed at the University of Bradford about 20 years ago, and it was developed for use in practice to help practitioners to be able to look at what the experience of care is like for a person living with dementia in a formal care setting, so a care home or a hospital. The EPIC trial aimed to look at whether dementia care mapping was both effective and cost effective for helping staff who are working in care homes to deliver more person-centred care, and as a result of that to reduce agitation in people with dementia.
Within EPIC, obviously we were doing research in care homes with people living with dementia, people whose family members now lived in care homes, and care home staff, so it was really important that we had their views throughout the project. So one way that we achieved this was by having the lay advisory group set up. So this was a group of people living with dementia, working in care homes, and who'd had relatives who were currently or who had previously lived in care homes, to give us their advice and to help ensure that the research that we were doing was going to have an impact, it was going to be meaningful, and also that the materials we'd prepared and that the data collection plans that we had were appropriate for the setting.
I became involved in the EPIC project because my mother had had Alzheimer's disease. I looked after her for 6 years in my own home, learned a great deal about the condition, learned about the care, whether it was NHS or social care, and when she died 6 years later, I was really much more knowledgeable and much more of the opinion that people with dementia got a raw deal. And so actually I became very much involved with the Alzheimer's Society, their research network. If you belong to that, you have to have been a person affected by dementia, either with dementia or as a carer or as an ex-carer. And I really wanted to know why people got it, what progress was being made to find a cure, to know best how to care for people. And as part of that, I had done the dementia care mapping course, and that gave me a terrific insight into how we could provide better, good quality, evidence-based care for people with dementia.
I got involved because both of my parents had dementia, and so I was volunteering for the Alzheimer's Society Research Network, and we had the opportunity to review applications for funding. And the care home where my father was used dementia care mapping, so when I saw this application come in, I really wanted to be involved. So I made an application and I was accepted, and that was how I got involved with the EPIC project.
We involved representatives of people living with dementia and their families in several different ways throughout the trial. Firstly, we had a lay representative on the trial management group who was there from the very beginning of the project and throughout ensured that their perspective was heard and that the perspective of relatives was at the focus and was at the front of what we were doing. We also had the lay advisory group, which met regularly throughout the trial, and they designed the information leaflets, fed back the questionnaires that we might be administering, and helped us decide which of those were most appropriate and which might be particularly difficult, and had a huge role in dissemination. Lots of things that happened from dissemination were specifically due to conversations that we had at the lay advisory group. So there was lots of non-academic outputs that were put together purely as a result of what the lay advisory group gave us in terms of advice. So things like articles in practitioner journals, in magazines, having blogs and having infographics were all ideas that came from the lay advisory group.